There are few things I enjoy more than launch day. When a system comes out, there is a spark in the air as a gamer. You want to see what the new stuff has to offer. You are excited about the new games that you are going to be able to play, and there is always that one killer app that you cannot wait to try out. What is up, everybody? The channel is Square Pegs. I am Jay. Welcome aboard. We're talking video games as we always do. And today we are going back to our Generation Gap series where we are looking at the best launch day games for each console generation. But, I am adding a difficulty layer to this one other than just saying, what's my favorite launch day game? Because I just grabbed pack-ins, right? Like, it's not gonna get better than Super Mario Brothers, is it? So what we are doing is we are saying the difficulty challenge on this one, the difficulty bonus, upping the ante just a bit. We're at this level, we need to get to this level! And what we are doing is we are saying no pack-in games for this video. So best launch day games that are not a pack-in. Let's dive in and take a look. All right, first up in Generation 3 with Mario out of contention due to it being a pack-in game, Excitebike is actually the one that springs to the front of the line for me as far as my favorites of the launch day games for the NES. Dropping day and date on October 18th, 1985 with the NES, Excitebike is as responsible as Mario Kart, Outrun, and RC Pro-Am for guiding me to my love of arcade racing titles. Head-to-head competition in Selection B was something I loved, and the solo competition running against the clock to get the best time possible in Selection A was second to none. And from a visual perspective, the game looked great. Character design was distinct and unmistakably a motocross racer, the courses had massive ramps and huge jumps, and there was just enough variety as you proceeded through each level to give you something new every time you advanced. But the ultimate feature, although sadly underutilized here in the West as we weren't able to save here, was the course designer that allowed you to build your own tracks utilizing 19 different options. It was a customizable feature I'd never seen before in any game, and something that made a huge impression on me to this day. As much as I loathed Ghosts and Goblins on the NES, in Generation 4, Ghouls and Ghosts on the Genesis made me completely fall in love with the idea that a game can be ball-bustingly difficult, but still completely enjoyable. Dropping with the Genesis in North America in October 1989, this was the first real arcade experience I'd ever had at home in front of my own TV. As near as my 10-year-old mind could figure, this was a one-to-one port of the game I played regularly at the local pizza place, and while I sucked at this game, and still do, I absolutely love it. The graphics were bigger and brighter and crazier than anything I'd ever seen on my own TV screens before, and I knew that if I just kept moving Arthur forward and held on to the damn daggers or sword for a change, I could beat the game. Now, spoilers, I never have, some 30 plus years later, but it's still a game I adore and have many positive memories of. Ghouls and Ghosts is something I love to throw in and just pick up and play for a little while and then move on with my day. It's hard, but it is an absolutely wonderful title. There's something kind of wonderful about dopey old Rayman when compared to today's over-the-top living and breathing cartoon version of the character. Back in the 5th generation, the first Rayman launched in December of 1994 on the PlayStation, and to be fair, it wasn't really groundbreaking, awe-inspiring, or jaw-dropping. But what it was a title that was contented to take a lot of concepts that had been done to death in previous console generations and plus them to the nth degree. The character art of Rayman was one part Looney Tunes creation and one part Izzy, the mascot of the '96 Atlanta Olympics. Enemies were bigger and more deliberate in their actions, leading the game to be a bit more steady in its approach and less frantic than things like Sonic the Hedgehog or Super Mario World from Gen 4. The game is beautifully simplistic, and it took a concept put forth by things like Aero the Acrobat and other 16-bit collectathon platformers and polished it to fit within the world and design aesthetic of this weird, limbless cartoon man. Looking at it now, it's almost quaint in its design, and I won't lie, playing it today does leave a bit to be desired, especially when balanced against its modern entries of Origins and Legends, but the original Rayman is still a ton of fun, and it plays perfectly well within the confines of its original design. Welcome to the Power Stone world. No lie, this is probably my favorite game on this entire list. I love Power Stone. This was the game that sold the Dreamcast to me, and something that I knew was going to capture my mind and make me a fan for life. Dropping in the 6th generation on the greatest release date of all time, 9/9/99, the Dreamcast was a powerhouse of a console, producing stunning graphics and amazing sound that just lit up the world of home console gaming. Power Stone took the pedigree of the Capcom name, the trust fans had put into the company with a history of Street Fighter, and created something new and different, and altogether unique in the fighting game space. With memorable characters, gorgeous environments, an unforgettable announcer, a soundtrack that will live in your brain rent-free, and fantastic 3D fighting, Power Stone wasn't only the best launch day game for the generation, it was one of the best games that released for that entire console generation. Alright, straight up, if I was allowing pack-in games, Wii Sports would 100% be on this list. I had so much fun playing Wii Sports. But, as it stands, you can't top Zelda.
The PS3 and the Xbox 360 had their share of memorable releases, to be sure, but Zelda Twilight Princess, which released in November 2006 for the 7th generation on the Wii, and yes, also on the GameCube, was something magical. With a darker storyline more akin to what we received in Majora's Mask than what we saw in Wind Waker, the game stood apart as something that not only made the Zelda franchise grow up a bit, but also integrated motion controls and embraced the gimmick of the Wii Remote and nunchucks to great effect. With stunning graphics and a spectacular soundtrack, The Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess is an absolutely incredible game. I hope we see this get the HD remaster it deserves on the Switch that's been rumored for a while now for the Zelda 35th anniversary, but if we don't, I'll make do with what I have. The 8th generation is one of my favorite video game generations. Between the PS4, Xbox One, and the Wii U, we had so many incredible games released. And folks forget that Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag was a launch day game for the PS4 in November 2013, because its initial release on the 7th generation happened only a month before that. A lot of people list Black Flag as their favorite Assassin's Creed game, and it's really easy to see why. You had a memorable protagonist that ties into several characters from the previous entry, a great look, pirates, and some of the best naval combat and exploration ever exhibited in a video game. Edward, as the protagonist, is one of the more unique characters featured as lead in Assassin's Creed. He's not a chosen one. He completely lucked his way into the uniform and killed his way into becoming one of the Assassin's Brotherhood. He's a fascinating character with a great personality. And the game also serves as an excellent bridge between the series' origins and where we ended up with the current iterations of the title. A lovely mix of action, adventure, and role-playing that keeps you wanting to come back and exploring the West Indies. I know some folks like to put the Switch as an 8.5 generation, but to me that was actually the start of the 9th generation, and I was sorely tempted to put Breath of the Wild on this list, but I'm going to be honest with you. The further away I get from the game's release, the less enamored I am with it. But Spider-Man Miles Morales for the PS5 hits every single button for me. Launching day and date in November 2020 with the PS5, the game does not miss, with the valid caveat to that being that it is probably a bit short. First, it's a continuation of one of my favorite games from the previous generation and features one of my favorite characters in the lead role. The game is visually stunning on the PS5 with just jaw-dropping lighting and a signature style that sets it apart from the original PS4 Spider-Man game. Miles also features fantastic music, a magnificent voice cast, and seamless gameplay that keeps you in the action at all times. No more long loading screens or waiting for the game to kick into gear, you're just there. You are Miles, and it's up to you to save the city. I've played the game sparingly so far. I'm kind of slow rolling it on this one, and I'm going back through the remastered version of the OG Spider-Man on the PS5, but what I've done so far in the game has had both a visual and emotional impact that I did not anticipate. Miles Morales is magical.
There you have it, guys. My favorite launch day games for each console generation that were not a pack-in when the console launched. Let me know in the comments down below what you think of my choices, and let me know what your favorite launch day games are as well. And remember, the difficulty bonus here is no pack-in games. Sorry, Super Mario Brothers. Sorry. I guess that's just it, right? Sorry. Hey, if you dig what I do here, please consider becoming a monthly Patreon sponsor, or at the very least, check out our merchandise. Links to both pages will be in the pinned comment down below, as well as links to all of our places on social media. Until next time, I've been Jay. Appreciate you spending a little bit of time with me. Until next time, remember to play more games, stay square, and take care. I'll talk to you soon.